Okay, welcome everybody. Friday night, 9 o'clock Central, to the Bitcoin funding team call. For those of you that are listening to the recording, you just missed out on 10 minutes worth of chaos. There is literally people from multiple continents, countries. Welcome to our friends to the north from the various Canadian provinces that I know are dialed into the call. We've got an incredible call planned here this evening. I just want to do a quick sound check for our moderators. Have I got Eric, are you on here?
Yes, sir, Jim.
Okay, Rusty and Norm?
Roger, got me.
Okay, guys, just to coach you up a little bit on this side, in between when you're talking, you may have to mute. I know when we got this many people on, we could get some background noise. So, folks, we're really excited. This is the call where Bitcoin collides with crowdfunding, and that's what's super exciting. I would encourage you to not multitask at all on tonight's call. This is a really cool call. I've gotten to know all three of these gentlemen, and I've really enjoyed the time that I've gotten to spend most recently with Rusty. You're going to hear some great information tonight about how passionate people can actually get about various causes that they literally are passionate about, that they want to fund, and the people they want to help and the people they want to bless, because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. And so whatever your background is, wherever you're dialing in from around the world, this is very exciting times. And Eric's going to light it up here shortly in terms of what Bitcoin funding team is, and he's going to talk about crowdfunding, and he's going to touch on Bitcoin. And so I encourage you to kind of buckle your seatbelt. I would also suggest you take notes, grab something to write with and something to write on, and then we'll have some special instructions for those of you that are guests at the very end of the call. So without further ado, from Central Missouri here in the Midwest USA, Eric Pinkston, take it away.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Hey, guys, tonight, you know what we got tonight? We got the Friday night main event, guys. I'm telling you what you're going to hear tonight from a couple of guys that are just like us, guys. They go to work every day. They're going to tell you some stories tonight, and I hope that you like to hear what they've got to say about them, guys. But look here, this is why we're all here. The Bitcoin funding team. What do? What are we, guys? We are nothing more than a bunch of like-minded individuals that want to change the way our lives are going. We want to help fund our families. We want to do the things in life that make it better for us and our families and our friends, okay? What we do is we invite those people to come over and join up with us for a life-changing event. Look, guys, over the next 5 to 10 years, there is going to be the largest wealth transfer in the United States that ever happened, and it's going to be surrounded or centered around Bitcoin, and you can guarantee that, okay? Whenever you talk about Bitcoin and you look at what Bitcoin has done over the last 6, 8, 10 months, look what the price has done. Then turn around and look what the price has done in the last week, guys. We're going through the roof. The SEC is going to approve Bitcoin to be traded as an ETF next or 2 weeks from now on March 11th. I'm telling you guys, we're on the way up. If you get in now, timing is everything. Get on board with the people that invited you. But before we go any further with that, look here. This is what Bitcoin funding team is all about, guys. It's a 2x5 force matrix that shows you how to bring your friends in and work as a team to grow an organization, to grow your friends and family, to show them how to put Bitcoin in their pocket with a one-time out-of-pocket $100. One time, guys. Never cost you another dime, okay? One time, $100 out of your pocket. You sponsor your first person, you got 100% of your money back. Now, I've never seen anything that easy, but I want to go one step further. I want you to understand what that $100 does, guys. That $100 is leveraged to get you up to a potential 84 Bitcoin a month that are worth right now today about $1,200 a coin. Now think about that. Where in the world can you go and put up a tenth of what something costs and have the potential to earn 85 times what they're worth? I don't know anywhere else in the world you can go do that, guys. Look, guys, we are in a transition right now. We have people looking at us from all directions. People are coming to Bitcoin funding team. They're talking about what we're doing. They're very successful business people. They know what this digital currency called Bitcoin is. They know it's a real currency. They know that it's here to stay, and they're going to jump on board with us, and we're going to build one of the biggest platforms that we've ever seen, and this is not MLM, guys. This is crowdfunding, and this is Bitcoin. This is where the two collide. Now, the guys I've got coming on the call tonight, I want to tell you, the first guy I've got coming on the call tonight knows what pressure is all about. You know, this guy played 18 years in the NFL. He played 18 years in the NFL. He went to a Super Bowl, played for 4 teams, 2-time Pro Bowler, the 10th all-time scorer in the NFL. This guy right here with 3 seconds left in the game put it all on the line, stepped between the hash marks, guys, and he kicked it between the uprights every time. They call this guy Mr. Automatic, Norm Johnson. Norm, I'm going to turn it over to you right now, buddy.
Hey, Eric, thank you so much for that introduction. Well, hi, everybody. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story of how I got and a little bit about why I'm here. And it was actually a process. It was very kind of interesting when I'm looking back on it, how naive I was. And I'm kind of kicking myself about how naive I was. But what I mean by that is I'd heard about Bitcoin and I hadn't paid any attention. I didn't read one article. I didn't look at a video. Over the years, I'd heard about Bitcoin, but I was so naive that I made up in my head what it was all about. You know, I said things like, oh, it's got to be a fad, or it doesn't make sense to me. How could it be real? How could it last? How do you spend it? I had all these things that wasn't interesting. I just thought, I don't know anything about it, but boy, I'm going to sure be sure in my head exactly what this is, and it was so stupid. So I get a call from Jim, who opened this call, and Jim and I go way back. We go back over 10 years. And one thing I know about Jim is he's calling me for 2 reasons. He either wants somebody's contact information or he wants to run something up my flagpole. And that's fine. That's good. And I know that when Jim, he sees anything and everything that comes across in the world. And for every one that he actually just even looks at, he throws 100 to the side. So when he's calling me with something, I know that he's already vetted the program, and usually I'm going to listen. So he calls me, and I said, yeah, Jim, what's going on? He goes, man, I got something that I've never seen in all my years. I said, really? He says, yeah. He says, you know what crowdfunding is? I said, well, sure. And I've been involved in a handful of different crowdfunding events and programs, and I said, you know what Bitcoin is? I said, well, I kind of know what it is. I don't know really about it. So he says, hey, I want to send you something. You take a look at it and give me a call back. I said, okay. Well, I didn't do anything. And he calls me back about a couple of days later, and he says, hey, Norm, did you take a look at that stuff? And I said, actually, Jim, I did. He says, well, don't take this the wrong way. Don't take this the wrong way. I don't mean anything by this. But he says, this isn't my last call to you. I'm like, oh, okay. So this isn't a takeaway or anything. He said, but if you don't get this, and if you don't see it, that's totally okay. But people are seeing this, and it's going crazy, and it's too big and too exciting, and too many people are interested for me to chase anybody. And I said, okay, all right, Jim, all right, you got my attention now. So can you resend it? So he resends it. I said, I'll look at it right now. So I looked at it for a couple hours. And I got an analytical brain, so I'm wrapping my head around how that all works. Trying to figure that all out, and I called Jim back, and he gets Eric on the phone. We have this little conversation. Hey, what this is, what this isn't. And I said, you know what, I actually can see how this can work probably in a pretty big way, and I'm still just trying to grasp this whole thing. I hung up the call, but here's what was a disconnect for me. I still didn't understand Bitcoin, didn't understand the value. So that night, I took my computer, put it by my bed. And I started laying in bed watching YouTube videos about Bitcoin. I started doing Google articles, and I just said, I can't believe my head has been in the sand for so long. I said, are you kidding? I started hearing billionaires talk about this. So Richard Branson, Bill Gates, you know, they have Virgin Airlines. You can pay with Bitcoin. Microsoft, you can pay with Bitcoin. Home Depot, you can pay with Bitcoin. You know, I played in Atlanta with the owner of Home Depot. These guys are all billionaires, and I started thinking, why are they accepting Bitcoin? Because they want more of it. They're big believers and backers. And I thought, if these billionaires are trying to collect it, they work at a different level than I do. They must know something. And as I'm watching, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. I mean, my goodness, Amazon. You can buy, I think you can get a discount if you buy product on Amazon using Bitcoin. All these light bulbs started going off in my head. Then I thought, well, how do you spend it? Well, then I looked up Visa. Visa, go to visa.com, BitPay. They have a card you can load with Bitcoin. You can spend it all over the world, and you can even pull out money. It's a debit card up to $3,000 a day. And I went, oh, my Lord. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't even sleep that night. I woke up the next day, and I said to myself, wow, I can't believe what a fool I've been not paying attention. And I thought to myself, I need Bitcoin. Got to have Bitcoin. I got to hedge my bets. It was unbelievable, all the realizations that came to my head. So I thought, hey, I can do one of two things. I can either go out and take a depreciating asset, which is my U.S. currency, and buy an appreciating asset of Bitcoin. And I could sit it in a wallet and I just let it go as high as it's going to go. I mean, there's people out there, if you go out there to YouTube, people in the know, they say, hey, everybody just needs to buy one Bitcoin and they could potentially be a millionaire. I don't know if that's where my stance is, but, you know, we're a long way at $1,200 to $1 million, but we're certainly a long way from way less than a penny to $1,200 too. I mean, we've come a long way. So the other idea of how to get Bitcoin is what Jim was telling me about, how to leverage a small amount of money, small amount of Bitcoin through crowdfunding, through helping others, and creating something on a monthly basis that could be mind-boggling. 84 Bitcoin a month? Man, I'm a pretty sharp guy. I could multiply 84 times 1,000 pretty easy. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And then as I was really doing my research, I realized, you know, I was an economics major at UCLA. Not a great major, but I came out of there knowing one thing, that if there's limited supply and an increasing demand, there's nothing that can happen to that price but go up. And my world just opened up, and I got so excited about coming on board. And what I really, really, really liked is, I knew Jim, I didn't know Eric, didn't know JR, didn't know Thomas. As I got to know these guys, they all have one thing in common. They're all about helping others. They all see this as a team concept. They're all team players, and all they want to know is how they can help. There's no egos here. There's no hidden agendas. They're going to help others, and along the way help themselves, kind of like what Zig Ziglar had said before. You can get everything you want in life if you help others get what they want. And that's what's happening here. And so I love that. And then I get more and more into this and helping people. I can't wait to start helping people create their dreams. Help them do whatever their needs are. Fund their needs. It doesn't matter. You know, I've always been into team sports, and I have obviously a football background, and I've been around a lot of coaches, a lot of teams, a lot of personalities. But the ones that win, like Pete Carroll out here in Seattle, he's brought something to the Seahawks that they truly believe in. They're not out there playing for the fans. They're not playing for the owners. They're not playing for themselves. They're playing for each other. They love each other, and they're winning because they care so much about each other, and that's what we're doing here. You know, as I help people build their causes and their incomes, it helps me, and I build mine. It's just amazing. And I'm going to kind of close with this. The way I was looking at it, about how naive I was, it's like I was standing in a train station. You know, 8 years ago, I didn't see this train that was almost standing still outside the door. In 5 years, it started moving slowly. Now it's moving very rapidly, and I don't think anybody can stop this train, and I have a choice. I said I could sit here in the train station and wave at all the smiling people on that train, because that train is called Bitcoin, or I can join them and jump on that train. And I decided to join on that train, and I decided to join the Bitcoin funding team here and help as many people as I can for as long as I can. And I just love it. Eric, I send it back to you.
Hey, Norm, thanks a lot, buddy. I don't think it could have been put much better. 18-year NFL veteran, guys. Let me tell you what, Norm Johnson's the man. I call him Mr. Automatic, and he's one of my friends, guys. Now, look here, guys. We got one more guy on the call tonight. You know, I don't want to say he's the second speaker. He's the other first. This gentleman right here comes from the state of Oklahoma. He played for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. He was one of the top college quarterbacks to ever walk in the state of Oklahoma. His team went 10-2 in 1985. Let me tell you what, guys. He only lost 2 games in 1985. Both of those were to the number 1 ranked and the number 2 ranked team in the nation. He got drafted by the Oakland Raiders in 1995, and he was the youngest quarterback to ever take a snap for the Oakland Raiders. I want to welcome my good friend, Rusty Helger, to the program.
Thanks, Eric.
Rusty,
I really appreciate. Yeah, Eric, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I really appreciate that introduction, and I'm really lucky to be here. You know, if I could just take just a second of your time. I know these calls are late. I know people around the country and around the world that have tapped into this. Guys, soon there's going to be hundreds of thousands and millions of people around us here at Bitcoin. You guys are hearing about this when it's still, you know, in its infancy stage. I mean, we haven't even got started yet. And look at the 800,000 people that are on this call tonight. It's really remarkable what we've seen, but you have to understand that from my perspective, I'm completely lucky. You've heard from Norm Johnson, and Norm is the guy that I've known since 1990 when I showed up to play for the Seattle Seahawks, and Norm and I have been in contact with each other throughout the months, and literally, you know, the reason why I'm here is because of Norm Johnson and what he told you on the phone earlier about helping people. Actually, let me bring all that back to you. Okay, so on Christmas Day, while everybody was opening presents around the tree with their family, I ended up getting rushed to the hospital. I had internal bleeding, and come to find out there was something big in my esophagus or my throat area, just above my stomach. Come to find out it was a tumor, and that's what was bleeding. 2 days later, the doctor looked me straight in the eye, and he said, "You've got cancer. And if we're right, you know, you got less than 6 months to live." I didn't know what to say. I mean, I literally turned to my wife, and I said, "What are we going to do?" Just a couple of days later, I get a call from Norm, and he tells me he wants to help. And nobody appreciates that more than I do. Believe me, I'm scrambling right now to try to figure out how to make ends meet. Unbelievably devastating for my wife and my 2 kids, 18 and 16, and I care for a nephew that's 17. And for 35 years, you know, I've raised money for nonprofit organizations that go to less, or I should say to deserving families or needy families or those in need. 35 years I've done this. I never thought one time that soon that was going to be me. So be careful what you wish for, because I was praying to the heavens for God's miracle. When Norm called me on the phone and asked me to look at Bitcoin, it was the furthest thing from my mind. I'm trying to find that miracle, and he mentions Bitcoin. And just like Norm, I didn't know what Bitcoin was. I'd heard about it, but I hadn't paid any attention to it. And when I found out, when I looked at it online, it only took me a few minutes before I figured out that regardless of anything else that happened, this was an incredible investment. And how many times in my life have I spent $100 and never got anything in return for it? And here was an opportunity that all in one fell swoop, I could have my family and all my medical bills taken care of. And it was going to be done, not by me and my efforts, but for the efforts of the team that we have around us. Now, I don't know about team play. I mean, being a quarterback, I'll tell you the first thing, that I wasn't worth a nickel unless I had talent all around me. Wasn't worth a nickel. And then I started to work Bitcoin. And I met Jim, and I met Eric, and I found out that the leadership here actually had a bigger heart than I did. And then I had a ways to go. Now, what that ended up looking like to me, now, if you guys think about this just for a second, you've got a leadership group who are spending their days and their nights building videos, putting together a website, and you know what? You know, they don't make a nickel off that. Remember, the company here doesn't make any money, guys. Not a nickel. This is peer-to-peer, person-to-person. Yet we have leadership at the top of this program that have made some phone calls, called people, brought them together, and everybody decided as a group that they would launch Bitcoin Funding Team. And then we go out and we share with other people, and we did it with one goal in mind, and that was to fund causes. That was to bring people out of the cellar, bring people into wealth, share wealth, distribute wealth. There's no reason why you don't deserve wealth. There's no reason. Not because you weren't born into it. I wasn't born into it. It wasn't left to me. You got to get up every day and earn it. But here was an opportunity that I could actually take care of my family. So for the first time, I didn't see Bitcoin as a way to just make money. I saw Bitcoin as a way to save possibly my life and the life of my family. So my whole attitude has changed. And if I can impress upon you one thing, it's not the $100 and it's not how much you make. Because believe me, if you get involved tonight, you set your position, you're going to make. What really comes is, where's your heart at? Where's your heart at? No lying and no cheating, no stealing. This is all about people helping people. You've got one chance in life, in many occasions, to make a splash, to hit a home run, to be a part of Walmart when it first came out, to be a part of Amazon when it first launched. You know, there's a lot of people on this call right now that had opportunities to invest in Microsoft when they were young, to invest in Apple, Amazon, all the other companies you could think of. How many of you bought gold when it was time? This is growing faster than gold. And if this goes to $2,000, $3,000, $25,000 a Bitcoin, like some analysts say, you can put 100 in there and make money and never even touch it. What did I do? I'm trying to buy Bitcoin every chance I get. I want to be part of that. But more importantly, crowdfunding Meet Bitcoin, the Bitcoin funding team, is the most impressive program I've ever seen to help people achieve their goals. We're not selling product and water filters. This is not an MLM. Wrap your head around it. The leadership at the top of this program are doing this for one reason. They make money just the way I do, just the way Norm does, just the way you will. Lock your position in tonight. Worry about how it works tomorrow. You're going to spend approximately a little over $100. You won't spend any more money out of your pocket. Come along for the ride. Find out what your why is. Find out what your cause is. Find out what you believe in. Get it in your heart. Make a stand. Call the person back who invited you on this call and get your position locked in. We're about to go for the ride of our life. There's never been anything before that's been created like this. It's the most outstanding piece of software and the piece of what I might call innovation that I've ever seen. And it's centered around a platform that we would do anyway if we all had the gumption to understand what a real investment was. We would all do this anyway. And trust me, if Bill Gates does it, it's good enough for me. It's good enough for me. He's not a newbie here. I'm the newbie. Just know that you're on this call tonight because somebody thought you were really special. Because we're not in this program to bring in people we don't like. Now, I understand. You can bring someone you hate here, and why not? I mean, if you can make money off of them, not a bad idea. But everybody I talk to are bringing on the people that they love, the people they care about. If you had an investment that was doing well, wouldn't you tell your loved ones? That's all we're doing. We don't care whether they say yes, no, or maybe. All we have to do is show them. Let an expert like Jim or Eric or Norm get on the telephone call and explain to people how you do this. We can get into the semantics at another time. Right now it's all about the call. But I'm just telling you, I'm here for one reason. And that's to fund causes. I want to fund mine and I want to fund yours. And I'll help you in any way I can. My phone number's available to anyone, my email address, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have one thing to do in our life, and that's to make a difference. You've got one chance to make an impact. If you've got families, you know what I'm talking about. Those of you that don't have families yet, you're going to feel it pretty soon. But here's an opportunity to change your family tree, to change where you grow up, to change where you live, and to change your history of your family forever, for generations to come. Again, there's a leadership here that's making this happen. They're not receiving payment for it. You've got to be pretty impressed at that. So without further ado, one of the most exciting guys that I've been around, a guy that makes me uplifted every time I talk to him. I can't ever find him in a down mood. He's never unhappy. He's on this call tonight, and I'm going to give it up to you. I'm here because of Norm, and Norm, you know I love you because of it, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And Eric, I really appreciate the friendship that you've given, and the love that you showed to my family and to my whole team. And so thank you for that, and we really appreciate everything that the Bitcoin Fighting Team has been able to do for us so far, and we can't wait to have stories from people that are on this call that the same things happen to them. So I really appreciate being on the call tonight, and if I could do anything to help you guys, please reach out to me and let me know. Thanks again, Eric.
Wow. I don't know what to say after that, Rusty. I mean, between you and Norm, you guys have made my night. You've enlightened some people on this call, and you know, I'm just going to let all that sink in with the folks tonight, guys. I don't have a whole lot more to say tonight. Just want you to remember what Rusty said there in that last conversation with the battle Rusty's got going on right now. I want you to be thinking about him and his family and his wife and his kids. Be praying for them, guys, and we'll see you on the next side. We'll see you on the next page tomorrow. I'm out tonight, guys. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.